Are there any drummers in the house?
I play percussion. That's because you couldn't play anything else.
Shut up. Come here, dude.
Hey, man. Did you touch my drum set? I am warning you right now, if you touch my drum, I will stab you in the neck with a knife. Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads Podcast. My name is Daniel, and this is episode 97 with Karen Ruggiero. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, you know how it goes. But yes, this was a wonderful, quick little episode with Karen. This was a super last second interview. I had talked to her before about having her on the podcast. Was trying to get everything arranged, and I had a guest set up for tonight. They had to reschedule as well, but then I did a live stream, and I was going to do something a little bit different. Anyways, I saw that she was on the live stream, and I said, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? I know it's the last second. She's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, woohoo! So it was a blast. I love just hearing everybody's different perspective, and Karen had a great, just a very practical, I don't know how you would explain it, just a very sincere, there's the word, a very sincere, love for drumming and helping other drummers, expand on their craft. So she has a website, churchdrummer.com. So if you're a church drummer, or if you're looking for a church drummer, you can go to this website and she can help you out, get you set up with the right people and all that kind of stuff. She teaches lessons. So if you're in the Sacramento area and you're wanting to have lessons, she can do lessons. She likes to do them in person, but she can also do little videos for you as well. But she's more of a one-on-one type of drum teacher. But yeah, we just had a great conversation. We talked about the past, but we talked about what I found the most fascinating was being a parent. She's a parent and so am I. So we had that connection of having kids and having to work in practices, performing, all that kind of stuff, and just hearing another parent's perspective was super interesting. And she offered some great advice to female drummers as well. Just be yourself. Don't try to fit a certain mold or be something you're not. So I found that very encouraging to hear. That just say, look, just be who you are, and people will like you. And she said, race, not race, but gender has nothing to do with you being a drummer. You can be male, female, or whatever, and that's a great thing. So I just found that just very welcoming. So here it is, episode 97 with Karen. Yes! Hey guys, there are multiple ways you can help out the podcast. The first is you can go to iTunes and leave us a nice review. So 5 stars for the podcast. Also, going and subscribing to the podcast. So if you have an iPhone or your Android device, especially if you have an iPhone, go to the podcast app, look us up, and hit subscribe. It's so easy. A 5-year-old could do it, because I know my 5-year-old could do it. Also, you can become a Patreon member, so you can help the show, so we can help with updates and all that kind of great stuff. Or if you just want to donate to the podcast, you can go to our PayPal account. Also, be sure to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, go to Tumblr. I'm pretty sure you're on Instagram, but if you're not, go and do that as well. Everything is so much helpful. I don't know why I said it that way, but it sounded good. So, yes, I will love you forever if you go do all of these things. Or just one. But preferably all. Maybe 2. It's up to you. Thanks. Hey guys, I want to thank Regal Tip for their support of the podcast. What a wonderful drumstick company they are. Very friendly to the drummers on the internet these days, and I love it. So if you want to find yourself a great pair of drumsticks, go to regaltip.com and you can find what you need. And if you need help, they will most happily reach out to you and find you what you need. So if you're looking for a certain length, certain diameter, certain tip, whatever, they will help you out and find you exactly what you need. And just want to thank them again for their support of the podcast and supporting independent, media like this. It's always wonderful. So again, thank you to Regal Tip, and go check them out. Do it. Welcome back to the Drumheads podcast, and I am joined by Karen Ruggiero. Did I say that right? Awesome!
That was great.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
How are you? This was a last minute thing that just kind of happened out of nowhere. So how are you?
I'm doing actually really well. Woke up early this morning, worked out, did a photo shoot.
Nice.
So
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny, we had talked about doing the podcast, and to give a little backstory, I was doing a live stream, and I'm like, my guest had canceled. I'm like, well, maybe I should reach out to Karen to see if she's available. I'm like, nah, she's probably busy. And I saw you jump on. I'm like, well, this live stream is going nowhere. Let's do a podcast. And I emailed you, and you said, yeah, let's do it. So here we are. So
here we are.
Here we are. So let's start with your drumming background. So how old were you when you started playing drums?
Well, I remember the day very clearly. I was 10 years old,
mm-hmm.
and we were watching some kind of live performance on television, and I was watching the drummer, and I just kept staring at the drummer, and I just thought it was so neat to look at this guy just take control or charge of this big drum set.
Mm-hmm.
And he had so much energy and life. And I just ran to my mom. I said, Mom, I want to play the drums. Please let me play the drums. And she's like, oh, I don't know. We'll see. And then within a week, I guess my neighbor had this Ludwig 1960s sparkle red drum set.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sold it to his parents for about $150.
Oh, nice.
And so I got this, I just got this beautiful red drum set, and then they, out of nowhere,
mm-hmm.
Which is very odd for my parents because they never bought us material possessions ever.
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
I think because it had to do with, music
mm-hmm.
or something, then they just went and got it. And then I started with private lessons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was that drummer you were watching on TV?
I wish I knew. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You just remember being fascinated by him and and just like, ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And my parents were never, no, you can't do that because of your gender. They've never been ever like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much you do what you want to do. If she wants to do it, then do it and
mm-hmm.
go for it. And, they just really put their energy into it by hiring, private instructors.
Nice. So who was the first drummer that really, resonated with you, whether it was a teacher or a musician, that was famous?
Honestly, the first real drummer I knew was my own drum teacher. His name is Tony Day,
mm-hmm.
and he's here in Sacramento, and he just really resonated with me. He could play anything,
mm-hmm.
and he had all types of genres, and I just really looked up to him,
mm-hmm.
and I admired his patience that he had, with me.
Yeah.
So I mean, he taught me for my whole, youth
mm-hmm.
up until I pretty much graduated high school. So.
Oh, nice. Now, did you do school band and stuff like that, or?
I did.
Okay.
I did a school. It was, when I went to high school, I was the freshman that came in and auditioned, and I beat out the seniors.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
They weren't too happy about that. They didn't like me.
You're like, hey, you should have been taking lessons from my guy. I mean, come on. Yeah.
That's right. Right, Tony Day.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. So was it just concert band or marching band, or is it a mix of both?
It was a jazz band. So
jazz band.
We did,
okay.
So we did performances and competitions, and
mm-hmm.
actually my 7th and 8th grade, the jazz band at
mm-hmm.
Arden School, we were number one. We won every single competition.
Nice.
And one of the saxophone players, people might know him, Javier Arau. He was in, that same group. So
now, when you got out of, high school, did you continue playing drums, in college or whatever?
Not really. I kind of stopped because I had to work 2 jobs and I was going to school full time. So I just it went on the back seat. If I saw a drum set, I'd sit down and play. But other than that, I didn't continue through college.
Okay. So what brought you back into wanting to play drums, after that delay?
I guess I started playing at different churches around.
Okay, yeah.
Because we needed a drummer, so I just kind of sat in and played. And then there came a point in time where I just thought to myself, I really want to get better at the drums. And so, this was much later on, probably 7 years went by. And so I ended up calling Tony Day back again. I said, hey, you remember me?
Nice.
And he was still teaching. So
That's
I
great.
started up with him again for a few years. And then one of my coworkers, my current teacher right now, Mike Johnston, she said, hey, have you heard of this guy, Mike Johnston? I said, nope, never heard of him. She said, well, he's right here in Folsom. Why don't you, send him an email? So I've been studying under him for the last 7 years.
Oh, wow. So way before he really kind of blew up, it sounds like, because
I think he was starting, like he had just gotten his Folsom studio or... Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Well, cool. So, so you said, church bands, because that's how I started off was, playing in in the church band, and you get exposed to a lot of different styles. I don't know what kind of church, you were attending, but, me, it was, just contemporary worship. So you kind of learn different, pop, rock, acoustic, and you get a good mix of different styles for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, so when it comes to your drums, what kind of kit are you playing right now?
Well, for the last 20 years of my drumming, it's kind of stacked up in the corner.
Okay,
right
yeah, I see it. Yeah.
That's my Yamaha Stage Custom.
Okay,
I've had
nice.
that one for a very, very long time. And then just recently, in the beginning of the year 2016, I purchased 2 drum sets. I got a Gretsch USA Custom, and then I bought a Craviotto.
Yeah, I saw the Craviotto. I'm like, oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah. And what made you want to go with those particular drums? Just the way they looked and sound, or?
Well, for the Craviotto, I had bought a snare drum from this guy back in 2005, and it had always been a goal of mine. I really wanted a full drum set of a Craviotto, but, it takes a lot of time to be able to afford something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an investment for sure.
Yeah, January 2016. Yeah, that's when I bought it. And then the USA Custom Gretsch, the owner of Skip's Creed, I was telling him, I really want a DW. And he's like, I'm surprised you would go with a DW and not, a Gretsch. And I said, well, I haven't really researched them a whole lot. And so he's like, go home, research it. So I did for like 2 months, and I just looked at all the different types of drum sets, and I just fell in love with the Gretsch. So I ordered one from him.
Nice. And, when it comes to cymbals, what kind of cymbals are you using?
I do use all vinyl now.
Okay, nice. There's a lot of people doing that, yeah.
Yeah, I used to do the Zildjian. I had all Zildjian with the Yamaha. And I don't know, every time I go on the skips, once in a while they'll have this beautiful vinyl, and I'll just hit it, and it's beautiful. I have to get it.
Yeah.
And it just, over the years, I just kind of built up my collection of vinyl.
Yeah. Well, and, you see like the drier cymbals they offer that, Zildjian, they're starting to offer now, but, vinyl really pushed that kind of dry, extra earthy kind of looking cymbals, and it really like hooked people. It hooked me. I'm like, ooh, this is this is different, but it sounds good at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And that's it. If I liked it, I bought it.
Yeah. And I was one of those purists, growing up. It's like, you can only have Zildjian, you can only have Tama, and now it's like, you find what you like, and you get, satisfaction. Oh, I have this symbol, but there's a part of me, it still has like a, well, I have an obligation to Zildjian, even though they don't pay me, but, it's just one of those things, those drummer ticks, I guess you could call it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have an interesting question, so you're a mother, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And I don't get a lot of parents. I'm a parent. I have 3 kids and a 4th one on the way. How do you balance your drumming with your your parenting and your daily life?
Yeah. First of all, congrats on the 4th one on the way.
Oh, thank you.
Having 3, that is a huge.
It is. It's
That's awesome.
There's nights I'm like, but it's still a fun time. Yeah.
Absolutely. I myself have 3 children. Basically, with each kid that I had, my drumming had to take a back seat, because newborns, they need your full attention. And I would squeeze drumming when I could. But now the kids are getting older, so it's okay for me to be on the drum set. And I think it's kind of nice that they see me, their mother, working on their craft, working on their passion, and seeing me take that time, to do so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always, allot a certain amount of time for each kid just to make sure they get that, one-on-one time, that special time that they need. And then, okay, now they're happy, so they go play by themselves, and I sit on the drums and I learn.
Yeah. Well, and why I asked that, because, I had someone tell me when I had my first kid, it's like, look, you got to, the drums, just forget about it. You got to focus on your kids. And my wife said, no, you're a drummer. And to take that away from you would be, devastating, and that's why, I like you, that when I was dating, she liked me because I was a drummer. Why would I want to change that when I have a kid? And so, it's good to know that you still had that, focus. Like, look, I'm a drummer, but I'm, I know I need to divvy up my time in certain ways. And, there's different seasons of life for sure.
It's true. And I do need to fill up that cup of drumming so that I can be a better parent to my kids. And that is amazing that you have a spouse that supports you in that. That's a big help.
Yeah. And is your husband, is he real supportive of your, drumming and all that as well?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, going back to like church band, so are you still doing the church band gigs or what are you doing right now?
I play every once in a while. I mean, pretty much right now, I'm just really focusing on becoming a better drummer, to become master of my craft. And it's a passion of mine right now. I just enjoy learning. And also I'm helping like other drummers getting plugged into church, because I do the whole churchdrummer.com. I have like 800 drummers on there.
Okay, yeah.
And I was
going to ask you about
so
that.
I help plug them in. And I mean, I created that website like, I don't know, a long time ago, maybe 7-8 years ago. And it was initially because all these churches had asked me to play drums for them in church. And I said, I can't fill in, all these churches. I can't go in all these places. And I know there's drummers out there that are more than willing to play and that are more than capable to play. So I started churchdrummer.com, and people just started signing up. And now worship leaders or, people with projects or Christian projects, they can now reach those drummers, and they can be found because, of course, we're, top ranked on SEO.
Oh, okay.
Where they couldn't do that on their own. But if someone just Googles Christian drummer, church drummer, bam, we're right there. We got 800 drummers, and they can search and get them plugged in. Nice.
Now, is that,
mine.
Okay. Well, and is that for the U.S., or a certain,
Yeah. It is for the U.S., but I do have other countries on there. I do have the U.K. and I have Brazil. but they're mostly the U.S. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it's funny being a drummer, and it doesn't matter what denomination I go to. I went to a Greek Orthodox church, and you're like, oh, you're that drummer, from that plays in churches. You're like, I can't escape it. No matter where you go, there's always that one person that's like, oh yeah, you're that drummer. Oh, we need a drummer right now. I get that a lot. It's like, oh, we're just visiting, and you get roped in very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah, and
it is a great environment to play in as well, and also for people that they have all levels of musicianship there, and it's nice because the churches I play at have just the top-notch equipment, and you just walk in, have your music, sit down, play, and then go.
I got burned out doing church gigs. I was doing like Wednesday nights, Tuesday nights, Sunday twice, Sunday 3 times, and then an evening service, and I just got like, and I actually had to stop a couple of years back and just like chill out. I wasn't enjoying it. Do you ever reach that kind of point playing where you kind of like, this is not fun anymore. I need to take a time out,
I'm trying to think if that has happened. I would say if I do get like that, it's because I'm learning songs note for note constantly, and that's what I do kind of get burned out on, charting them. I have to play them exactly the CD, because some churches are very particular. You have to play it exact, and some are, more easygoing. You could be creative.
Yeah.
But I would say if I were to get burnt out, it would be more, playing exact.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm in this like period right now where the church I'm going to, I was so used to playing at my previous church, exactly like the CD, playing with the click, and now I'm at this church where it's more loosey-goosey kind of vibe, and there's a little more artistic freedom you can have with the songs. So it's like it definitely takes an adjustment to like learn the the worship leaders' mannerisms and all that. People think, oh, you just go in and you start playing. It's like, no, you have to learn the dynamics of the group, and sometimes the group is different each week. You get a rotating crew of musicians a lot of times at these churches.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, the question I've added to the podcast recently that everybody loves this question is, do you have a worst gig that, story where, like, something just went horribly wrong? Like, I've fallen off the stage because I thought the screen behind me was a wall, so I, like, leaned up against it, and woo! There I went, off the stage, Do you have one of those moments?
I do, and it's quite embarrassing.
Well, if it's too embarrassing, you don't have to tell.
I'll share.
Okay.
I'll share. So, I got hired to play at a gospel church, and I played there for a couple months, and I didn't really grow up with the music, and the music is so much fun to play to, absolutely. But I don't know the music like I would, other, Christian music or worship music or just regular music here on the radio. So I don't know what it was, but so we're playing, right? And they were pretty upbeat shows. And the organ player, she was amazing. She was a talented girl. She was pretty much the leader of us. And she really had to stop playing and clap on the beat that I was supposed to be on, because I turned the beat around. I was off. So bad. And I'm like, oh man. So I got on the correct beat.
Yeah. Oh, that's brutal. That the organ player is like,
Very
1,
brutal.
2, 3.
Yeah, it was very brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah. I've had
that only happened once.
Only once? Okay, yeah. I've had that happen where, I'm like off in La La Land and like the guitar player comes over and he's like, oh yeah, sorry, we were somewhere else in the song and I was playing the beginning still, you just get you get lost sometimes.
Yeah. Right.
But the stories I've been getting a lot lately, they're just so, when you hear them, you're like, oh, that's so embarrassing, it's so brutal, but, you learned a lesson, from it, whether it was just, you didn't know the audience, you didn't know, the band you were playing with or whatever, and I think those little things, they keep you humble for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, being a female drummer, what advice do you have to, young female drummers? Because, with the podcast, I try to make sure that, I bring in the female drumming voice, because there's not a lot of podcasts that interview female drummers. So I want to, always ask that question. What advice would you give to a young female drummer?
Gosh, drumming has changed so much over from the time I was a drummer at age 10, growing up in high school. I feel like drumming, the community is so supportive now of all genders. Where before, I didn't feel supported at all. I felt like I was the only female drummer out there. Ever. But I guess just let your ability show the person that you are. Let your drumming, show who you are.
Yeah.
Throw gender out of it. And don't ever become someone that you're not with drumming. And don't ever let a male intimidate you ever.
Yeah.
I've had that happen when I was much younger. So be who you are, and keep working on your craft, keep working on your passion, no matter what. No matter what people say or do. But like I said, I really believe that the drumming community is very loving and supportive. And now it's a great time to be playing drums as a female.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And especially on Instagram and stuff like that, the comments, for the most part, are pretty positive. When people post, when, female drummers post videos and stuff like that, people are seeing past the, what gender they are, and they're just seeing them as a drummer. And it's, it's great. I've asked this, to every female drummer guest I've had on, and, they're pretty much in, consensus, we've reached over a big hump, of, oh, you're a female drummer, you can't hang with us, blah, 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 and, all that nonsense. And now we're reaching the point, where it's like, oh, you're a great drummer, and gender is not an issue. So, every day it's getting better and better. And I think, having conversations like this really help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to plug, or anything, any videos or anything you've got, working, or just, yeah.
Well, I think you're frozen right now.
Oh, am I frozen?
That's better.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the internet here in my house is shady at best, and there's a good possibility that there'll be 3 kids running through the door. Who knows? Any second. I don't know. So
I get you.
Yeah, if you hear the door whoosh, slam open and then you hear a bunch of screaming, that would be the children.
No, it's same here. Multiple times my daughter comes up to me like this. And she's like yelling, "Mom, Mom!" When I say no, I'm like, "Yes, sweetie, what is it?"
Have any of your kids expressed interest in playing drums?
My 2 sons did, and I'm also a drum teacher as well. So I've taught a lot of different kids at a lot of levels and a lot of ages. And I'm not just saying this, but my boys had a gift for rhythm and drumming, and I think it was because they grew up with it. But unfortunately, they just didn't. They didn't have the heart, and I'm not going to force them to do it.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah, one's doing piano, and the other one's doing soccer. And then, I don't know, maybe my daughter, we'll see what happens.
You never know. So. Yeah, or they could come loop back around and get interested in it again. You never know.
Hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Cool. Well, and, what drummers are you into right now? I was like, I know there's a question I'm forgetting. I usually write it all down, but,
I know. Well, there's quite a few. Of course, I mean, they're all the greats. Benny Greb, Jos Nickel. Of course, my drum teacher, Mike Johnston. Just, I don't know. I do watch a lot of YouTube drumming videos. I just kind of browse around, see what I can pick up, learn new, you know. I do study them, all of them.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You get on one of those YouTube rabbit holes and you're like, oh no, it's 1:30 in the morning. I need to go to sleep, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I need more time so I can watch these videos. Oh, there's JoJo Mayer. I gotta see him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Sometimes I'll be there playing. My wife's like hitting me. I'm like, she's like, it's 2:00 in the morning. You really should go to bed. I'm like, oh no, yes, you're right. You know? So, yeah. I've been going back and learning about, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire has been like my band right now. I don't know why. I didn't really grow up listening to them, but like I love their drummer, and I'm like really trying to focus on like the pocket groove. So like right now, my kids are probably sick of me playing Earth, Wind, and Fire while we're eating dinner, but I'm like I have to, like, I'm trying to figure this out. And you know, I think that's, you know, it's always fun to like go back and visit something that you're not really familiar with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any drummers like you know, you've always heard of, and then you're like, oh yeah, why have I not checked out this drummer before?
You know, I'm not sure that have been like old school, and then you go back and kind of look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any offhand.
Yeah.
Another drummer that I do look to is Lee Pearson. I forgot to mention him. He is amazing. He tours with Chris Bodie.
Oh, okay.
And he plays a drum solo every show. He plays this. He gets like this free time to just solo, and he's just an incredible jazz drummer.
Nice.
He doesn't have a whole lot of stuff out there, you know, but I have seen him perform live, and it's pretty phenomenal.
That's cool. So, so you're, like you said, you're teaching. So, you know, are you taking students right now, or is it kind of just?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Always. I do private lessons. I teach one-on-one.
Okay.
For me, you know, I like to have the student there, and you know, I have done, you know, some lessons over Skype or WhatsApp, like a 3-minute video, like, because you know, people chime in from Instagram. They say, oh, I would like to learn this or that, so I'll just record something, shoot it off to them. Oh, nice. Those are just like free, you know. I just want to inspire and help people out. As far as private lessons, absolutely. I'm here. I got the 2 kit set up. You know, I got the USA system they play on, and I play the Craviotto.
Oh, okay. You have to have the Gretsch. Sorry, you know. That's this other kit is for me. You know, maybe one day. Student kit. Yeah. That'd be, you know, I would have been happy with a used Tama kit. You know, a lot of times the kits you learn on when you first learn on are just garbage. You know, they're just you know, to sit behind a professional drum set kit. You know, ooh, this is nice. You know, but sometimes it might motivate the kid to, like, you know, the kids to like, wow, this is the real deal. You know, and they almost respect it a little bit more. Yeah.
Honestly, I think it does, because you can see the maturity in them. You know, when I tell them about this kit, you know, what it is and how expensive it is, they respect it, you know, and they try their hardest when they're with me.
Nice. Cool. Well, again, thank you for being on last minute, you know, and, you know, I love the internet. It's such a cool thing, you know.
It is very cool. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So people can follow you on Instagram. Do you have a YouTube page or anything like that?
I think my YouTube page is Sack Church Drummer. I just have a couple audition tapes out there. Just a couple things here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, mainly just Instagram, Karen Ruggiero. That's where I post my stuff. So.
Your stuff, and then churchdrummer.com.
Yeah, churchdrummer.com. That's our website. And then we also have a Facebook page, Church Drummer. We have over 2,000 members on the Facebook page.
Cool. Yeah. And that's always a handy thing, you know, for church drummers out there to use that kind of service as well. So it's very cool. Well,
yeah, I think I just posted what I want this morning. Some guy in Ohio was wanting a drummer, and he asked me, hey, can you put it out on your page? I said, no problem. So put it out there. Drummers interested, they can reach out to them.
Well, very cool. Well, again, thank you for being on. This was fun, last minute, and let's see. This will be episode 97. So, yeah, I'll probably post this tonight. So, but again, thank you for being on. So everybody, go check her out. And so I'm gonna hit stop on the recording real quick.